January 15th through 2006 meeting of the Library Board of Trustees. You're joining us starting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all.
So, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. We will start with the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move the agenda is approved.
A second.
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will start then with comments from the public. Did we have any? No public. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. So any questions on the consent agenda, or otherwise a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it, and then I'll take a vote here. I'm going to abstain because I was here last week, but all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. I don't believe we have anything removed from the consent agenda. Okay, thank you. So we're going to temporarily adjourn this meeting for the full library board. We will move to, I'll accept the motion to do that temporary adjournment so that we can then have the meeting at the library board of finance meeting.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we will call to order the meeting of the library board of finance. And right now, Melissa, who is the president and vice president secretary currently, because then we need to move to somebody else. Is that correct?
Well, we don't have to move to somebody else. It's typically been, the treasurer, gets nominated or is often nominated to be the president of the board of finance. And then another member of the finance committee, which would be either you or Bill, is nominated to be the secretary.
Okay.
How we've done it historically.
Okay. I will nominate Beth then as president.
I'm happy to second if I can.
Yeah, does it have to be Bill?
Yeah, that's what, and then she would run that section. So,
Okay. So do I have a second, Bill? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Beth, you're on.
Okay, and then we'll do the motion to elect a secretary of the board of finance, which would either be Bill or Kim traditionally. I have a motion to do either.
I don't care. Would you like to be on the planning thing? No. Okay, so you better nominate me. I want somebody to say, okay,
I nominate Kim to be secretary of board of finance.
You got a second?
Bill, I think you have to make this one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Okay, so overview of the library's investments. Mr. Messer from Baker Tilly is here to give us an update on that.
Thank you. I'm Jeff Messer with Baker Tilly Investment Services. Been working with you guys for a number of years now, assisting on investments. Wanted to give you basically a brief summary of the library's investments at year end. But before that, I want to just give a little bit of an overview of what's happened to interest rates over the last 18 months. If you've been kind of following it, rates have dropped quite a bit. We were earning in the fives, and we still have some fives on here, as you see, and those have gone away. Rates have come down. Inflation's come down a little bit. The rate has slowed. Things are expensive, but at least the rate of that, the increases is not so much now. So the Federal Reserve has decided to lower interest rates. So they've gone from the mid fives to around the mid threes right now. It looks like they're taking a break a little bit. It's what I say data dependent, depending on what what the inflation rate is and what GDP is doing and other things that they look at. The futures market that predicts what interest rates are doing is saying maybe one more rate cut this year. which again gets us down to around 3.5%, which is that's still a pretty decent rate of return if you compare it against where we were COVID, and then back in 2008 to 2015, we were at zero rate return. So, all 20 million of your dollars you guys had was earning hardly anything, and now we're still in between 3 and 5, which is really good for budgets. If you all can see that year in, you had 5 CDs in your portfolio. The average rate on that was about pretty close to 4.50, about 4.46, something like that. And you've got some of these rolling off this year. You've been earning these pretty high rates for a long time, and we still have some that are still going to be hanging on at high rates throughout the year. But our process is when one of these matures, we give Kim a call and say, hey, we've got $2 million coming due. Does the library have any liquidity needs, anything you need this money for? If not, here's what we think you should do with it with respect to far out to invest and where we think interest rates are going. And do a bidding process with all the banks in your political subdivision and try to find the nice rate out there, and do that pretty much each and every time. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Who normally participates in the bid? Will we put out a bid for that?
It would be anybody within your political, so any of the, we ask everybody to bid. The more the merrier.
What is the candidates to participate in that? Yeah, BMO, Harris.
BMO has, well, and it's, yes, there's a lot of BMO on here. And before rates started going down, they were real aggressive. They're not maybe quite as aggressive right now, but they won a lot of bids. And some of our other clients are the same way. They have BMO in their political subdivision. They've been very aggressive. But when we start bidding again, there's some other banks that we've noticed are kind of bumping their rates up right now. And it just kind of depends on people's needs for deposits, right? Banks' needs for deposits. So this time next year, we could have, another bank that fills a lot of these, or spread it out between 2 or 3. Bottom line is we want the highest rate that we can possibly get for the library. That's all I had. Y'all have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so next up is to review the library's investment policy, and everybody should have had that in their packet that they got from 2024. We've made no adjustments to that. So before discussion, do I have a motion to accept that as the 2026? Motion you're from. Second. All in favor?
I
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Oh, I guess I should have asked for. Anybody have any questions on it? It's a little late now, but okay. Designation of the newspapers for the publications for public. Is this just for public notices? Okay, would be the Hamilton County Reporter and the Noblesville Times, which is almost our only choices. So, do I have a motion that we use the Noblesville Times and the Hamilton County Reporter? So moved. Second. Okay, anybody have any discussion or questions about that? Okay, let's do a vote then. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So do we have anything else before we adjourn from the?
That's everything.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion that we adjourn out of the Finance Committee meeting then? Second. I'm sorry, when you said we're going to adjourn.
Out of the Board of Finance,
Finance, okay, all right.
not the Finance Committee.
Not Finance. Board of Finance. Okay. Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Go back to you.
All right, we'll move on to bad debt policy.
So the State Board of Accounts wants to see libraries identify and record and write off uncollectible library fees and other charges that patrons owe to us. So these would be anything that's 3 years or older, and then it would be just every 3 year, like next year would be the previous 3 years. But we need a policy to, that is like establishes that, and then we also have a resolution that identifies that debt. Now this, we're not, like, we keep track of that in our ILS, so the software that we use to pull up, library records and check things out, it also keeps track of that. So if somebody did make a payment, we still have track of what they still owe. It's just, this is taking it off of our books. So a policy that we ask the board to approve that policy, and then also we have the resolution for the debt that has been identified.
Can we do those together? Or do we want two motions?
You can move approval for
Okay.
both.
Sorry.
I move that we approve them both.
Do you have a second? Second. Okay, and all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. What's up for that? Any questions on any of that? Then we will move to additional cameras.
So we have, we always identify these when we have an issue. Like that's when we find the areas that we don't have cameras. So we've identified a few areas that we would like to add some cameras. It's a couple of areas up in the upstairs in the second upper level in Noblesville. And then some in the administration hallway, because that's where we keep, we have all our safes and, or not all our safes. So we have money up there. And then also in Noblesville, in the main level, there's like a reading area in that curved window in the front. There's no cameras on that. Right? We do trust it there. So we would just ask for approval to purchase those additional cameras for those areas.
I will motion to approve the purchase of the additional cameras. Do I have a second? Second. Any questions on it? Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, awesome. And we will move to the bylaws.
So this was a recommendation from Anne that we update the bylaws to clarify that board emails are much like our staff emails, are just subject to the state and local retention laws, and open that they're if we get records requests, that they are subject to that same thing. So just to clarify that in the bylaws.
So this is your HEPL email. And this, Melissa and I started discussing this because we've had a records request. And I doubt this surprises any of you that we're going to have to produce those. And we talked about whether we should adopt a policy so that it's clear to everyone as we get new board members periodically. And decided that we would ask you if you wished to amend your bylaws to make it clear rather than having a policy. You don't have a lot of policies that apply to the board. And I think it probably is best to go in your bylaws, but that's for you to decide.
Do you want to discuss, Melissa, like what the updates were that you're proposing?
It's on, I think it should be in red. I think that I have it there. It's on page, it's on.
I think that's in it.
Yeah, is,
Forgive me.
yeah, Article 13, HEPL's email system and all messages sent or received on HEPL's email system are library property. Trustees, board-related email should be retained in accordance with the county local general retention schedule, which easiest to just not delete anything.
Yeah.
Spam, so for spam.
Okay.
So the general rule, don't put anything in our emails that we didn't want to see in the newspaper. Rule of thumb to go by.
Mhm. Don't put anything in writing that you don't want other people to read. Ever. Ever.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Especially on the internet. Never. All right, so are you looking for an approval for that?
Yeah.
Updated wording, okay.
Well, do we have to, well, since we don't, I think for bylaws, since we don't have everyone here, we have
Yes.
to,
Because they have to.
it has to be 2 months.
And
Okay,
Okay, so,
all board members, not just those in attendance.
okay, so should we push that till next?
Uh-huh.
Is
Yes,
the,
you introduced it and discussed it this month, but hopefully we'll have everybody next month and you can approve.
very good, all right, thank you. All right, let's see, administrators, executive recommendation for the health insurance.
And this way, so every year, our health insurance cycle is kind of wonky compared to a lot of people's that run January to December. Ours runs April to March. And so we're getting, we just met with the NFP who gets our quotes and insurance rates, works on that for us. So we just met with them. And so they're gonna go out and get the bids for our insurance but we'll have to approve or sign off on that before the February meeting. So we just ask for approval that we be allowed to make the decision working in consultation with NFP, as long as it doesn't exceed what we have in that budget item, which would be as 900,000 for this year.
So do I have a motion to approve that, letting them go ahead and make the decision based upon keeping it under that.
Make the motion.
So the second. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thanks for taking care of that, Allison. Foundation update, Lisa, would you like to give that?
Well, I think we have the fee schedule.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Lisa.
I cannot down too quickly.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's a fee schedule.
Okay, so we need the board to approve the list of fees that we charge for things. So this includes all of our fees like photocopying, things like that, but then also all of the supplies that they sell in the maker space. And then we did have to update that because we added the maker lab in Noblesville, so we have some new equipment. So this just includes everything in one place, which, thank you, Molly. Molly, it was not all in one place, and Molly created that for us, so.
Thank you. Happy to that.
So it's a relatively new person, so that's questions like,
Please.
when that fee was determined, is it based on some kind of market rate? Or
Yes.
are we trying to break even, or are we trying to make
Yes.
money, or are we expecting to lose money?
We just ask for what it costs us to operate those things, and then, and then we update that annually. Well,
That's what I was gonna ask, is when do, like, if the sales increase, is it an annual or if it has?
we do it annually, but then also if we if we added a new piece of equipment and needed to charge, so then we would bring it back to. I'm so sorry.
Anything else on that? The fee schedule? Do I have a motion to approve the updated fee schedule for 2026?
I mean, we approve the updated fee schedule.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries, and now we will have Lisa. Thank you.
Thanks. I just wanted to share a few things with you. We ended the year with about $310,000 in assets in the foundation, so that was good for our first 3 months of operations. We had year-to-date contributions. This is as of the end of November, because the books haven't been closed yet, but $343,000 was what we had in contributions. A majority of that thanks to requests that we received. We gave total grants to the library of $27,500. And so that's the financial kind of picture from the end of the year. We had a meeting on Tuesday evening, and we elected Andre Miksha and Michelle Bain to our board, since they've come off your board. So we were very excited about having that experience level of the library on our board, and that brings us to having 11 voting members, which is exciting. Which means now that we can pretty much assure that we'll have enough voting members at each board meeting. We've been kind of close a few times, so we're excited about that. We still hope to add about 4 more board members by mid-year this year, so that will bring us to a total of 16 board members. See if there's something else. I think the other thing we started talking about events for this coming year. We're planning to do the Night of Stacks again, kind of making it more of a fundraising event. So it will be our first kind of major fundraising event, targeting May to have that event in, so you'll be hearing more about that next month. And then we've talked about some other real exciting things that we'll start with some smaller things throughout this year, so it's gonna be a really good year. So we had a terrific board meeting and we look forward to working with you in the coming year.
Congratulations, that's amazing, it's amazing, good work.
Yeah. Any questions? And if you have any, or if you need anyone who wants to support the library, send them.
So I have a question, and maybe Melissa, this is more for you, but I don't know. So if you got $27,000, was that, did it have to be targeted to something, or did you spend it on something specific?
Well, so they have a request form that we fill out, and so, for these, the request, I know one of it was to replenish, so the NICE fund, which is that fund that we use to pay for things for staff, we replenished that, and then, what were the other ones?
Well, the 25,000 was for the EC fund, so that just was to replenish the net, and then the $2,500 was for Welcome Week. We got a specific sponsor for Welcome Week, so those funds would have gone towards Welcome Week. And then coming forward, we have available for 2026 a $30,000. We're calling our annual grant. So it'll be the annual grant, and Melissa and I are meeting next week, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that will be targeted for, but we have 5 programs, we, the foundation, have 5 programs we'd like to be involved with and be able to promote as things that we sponsor. And so we'll have some of those funds go towards those. And then for 2027, our plan is that we will announce what we will have available for 2027 in May, so that you guys can consider it in your budgeting process.
Well, nice.
And then, so we'll still work on what exactly it's gonna go for, but at least you'll know that going into the budgeting process, so that you don't have, you can use those funds.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. Wonderful news.
And so when Lisa talked about the request as part of what they received, I told her today that there's a small additional amount that I just received and failed to pick it up because I went to court before I came here. But she's going to get just a small additional amount that is the final closeout of that estate.
Nice.
It was a wonderful, wonderful contribution.
That's great. Great news. All right, so we'll move to the director's report. Melissa?
Okay. So, I do have a couple of just updates I wanted to tell you about. Diligent, the software that we use for the board docs, is going to have an upgrade. And so on January 17th, you're going to get an email from the Diligent platform, and it's going to ask you to activate your account. So that's real. And it's going to come from notifications at diligent1platform.com. So when you get that, that is real. That's not a spam phishing expedition. And then I also wanted to just note that we did add amendments to the small projects contract, noting that the payment's going to be split across 2 years, 2025 and 2026. So it's not changing the amount that you've already previously approved. It's just which budget it's going to come from. So the total amount is staying the same. It's just part will come from 2025, 2020 and 2026. So Mike Breder, and please change this if you disagree, but like he said, we would not need to vote on that because we're not changing the amount, but he wanted us to make sure that we identified that for you.
You're okay if you don't vote on.
Yeah.
Fine.
So on to the director's report, we are still waiting for the Indiana State Library to make the annual report available. Usually we have January all the way through February to work on this report and input all of our data. This year, it's unfortunate, but the State Library used Baker and Taylor as they provided who collected the data for the state, and so they have gone out of business. And so the State Library is in the midst of negotiating a contract with a new vendor. So I believe that is almost finalized, and so hopefully it won't take them long to get that assembled. So, but because we don't know, it's in the Indiana code that information must be submitted by March 1st. So, I mean, hopefully it's available before then, but we'll see. But we're just gathering all of the data beforehand, just so that once it drops, we can just get it in there as quickly as possible. So that is happening, and I wanted to make sure you're aware of that. December is always busy at the library and in just everyone's personal lives. There's all sorts of holiday events that take place. We did have our staff holiday luncheon that we do every year, and that's paid for with that MEC fund, which is one of our gift funds. We had new decorators this year, and we're going to be using them throughout the year for thematic decorations, and they're also going to bring in some like live plants and things and that they will maintain so that we do not kill it. If you, yeah. Don't ask Molly her track record on things. So. We also had some fun programs, like we had Mrs. Claus was a guest at one of our story times. We had a high school cellist who performed some holiday music in the lobby. And then this year, our staff usually adopts a family for Christmas and we buy gifts for them. And then this year we did 2 families, and it's just always really rewarding to see our staff is just very generous. And so we filled an entire van full of gifts for these 2 families, and then on top of that, provided $400 worth of gift cards for them. So that was a nice thing that we were able to do. Also, just want to make sure that you're aware that David Highway is he was the county historian. He's been the county historian for a very, very long time. We're very lucky to have him on our staff. Is going to be stepping back from that role and will now be an honorary have the honorary role of Hamilton County Historian Emeritus. But we are very lucky that the new incoming county historian is another member of our staff, and that's Jessica Lehman. So we do thank David for all of his years of service, and want to congratulate Jessica for her appointment. She works up in the Crossroads Discovery Center in Noblesville as well. So they both know quite a bit about Hamilton County history. The local author fair that we do every year, the application is open for that event. This year we're moving the event to the 4-H fairgrounds because it started here in this room and then it outgrew this room and it moved to the forum, and now it's out from the forum. So we're moving it to the fairgrounds so that they can expand it. So they're going to have all sorts of activities, and it's a huge event. It's lots of fun to go to. And I think I mentioned last month that we are hosting each of the kindergarten classes from HSC schools will come to the library for a field trip. It is an art experience, and so they will be visiting the Fishers Art Center and then also our Ignite studio. We did our first one on last Friday, and we have another one tomorrow, and pretty much almost every Friday up until the end of the school year, because there's a lot of elementary schools. So it went pretty well. We learned some lessons, we made some adjustments, but it was a really good day, and we're very glad that we're part of that, because we want the Fishers Art Center is great, but we also want people to know about the opportunities they have here at the library. So it's very fun to be around a whole lot of 5-year-olds. They're always yeah. They're just so funny. They say so many funny things. So yeah.
So she has a sign-up sheet for all of you for.
That was like, no way, I think like this.
Yeah. I used to be a kindergarten teacher, and actually, I just want to take a moment. I forgot we have a new board member.
That, I wasn't here, I was thinking she was introducing.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
it's so
Go ahead.
welcome to Courtney. Courtney is our parent from Noblesville School and is the media specialist at North Elementary in Noblesville. So yeah, that's the school that Lily's son went to. So and Bill's son. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a special place. And then, yeah, so welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we will continue on with those kindergarten field trips, and you'll probably hear more about them. This Saturday, we have a comic book in a day coming up. We host this in collaboration with Noblesville Create, and we invite people to come into the Ignite studio, and they can create a comic book from scratch. And we have support of professional artists, and it's a very cool event. And then there's awards for the different age groups and prizes for the winners. And then there's also just you know, if you don't want to come in and make your own comic book, then there's events or drop-in activities that you can do if you just want to come in and watch the event. And it runs from 9 to 5 on Saturday. And I'm happy to take any questions.
It's a great report. Thank you, Melissa. No, you are, your team do a great job.
It's, you know, it's always, we read all the reports come in for, every staff member writes one and then it goes up to their manager and then they come up to me. And so it's always a lot of, it takes a while to do it, but it's always nice because you get to see, you know, you hear about problems that way. And then you also, but it's also nice to hear the good stories too.
Yeah. Good things going on here.
Oh, yeah, we did have, and we invited Officer Alvis. If you know Officer Alvis, he is in the Fishers Police Department and he's fantastic. And he's been a guest guest reader at Storytime many times, and he's just fantastic. I mean, he's also was the guest judge when we did a staff bake-off.
Sounds like a good job. Thank you. Was any questions for Melissa? All right, great. So I will move into, any old or new business. Do you have anything for it? Anybody? Okay. And so I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.